Today is Thursday, May 11, 2017, and today we got to talk about what happened at Bethune-Cookman College in Florida. Now, if you don't know what Bethune-Cookman is, if you're not familiar with where it is, it's a historically black college university, also known as HBCU, and that's what it is. It's a black college. So the situation that unfolded was with Betsy DeVos. Now, what I want to do right now is play a little bit of video of the actual incident, and you'll be able to see what happened with your own two eyes. Don't just take it from me or anybody else. Just look at it and you can see what happened. And then once you get done with the video, we'll come back. We'll talk about what happened and we'll discuss ramifications of this, what this actually means, who it affects, who it offends, etc., etc. So without further ado, go ahead and roll it.
Dr. Jackson, Board of Trustees, thank you so very, very much for this great honor and privilege. I am honored to become a Wildcat. And it's a real honor and privilege to be with you as we celebrate the Bethune-Cookman University class of 2017.
If this behavior continues, your degrees will be mailed to you. Choose which way you want to go.
Okay, so you see what happened. You see the whole big melee, the whole big kerfuffle. It wasn't a fight or anything like that. People were just offended, I guess, at Miss Betsy DeVos coming to the school, and then they wanted to protest. But the question I have before I get into my opinion of what actually happened is, what was the purpose? Was there an organization that was behind it? Was there some sort of some kind of thing around school where they say, okay, when she comes, we're going to do this specific thing? Because it was like a coordinated thing. It was like choreographed. People got up and they turned around. I thought that was very specific. It was not just something that they would just do on the spur. Maybe they did, but I don't think they did. I think it was organized. So I want to know that first. But beyond that, what is the actual purpose just beyond that day? Was there anything planned beyond that day? Or was it just a ploy to get attention for that day of their graduation? I can't call it, because now I'm gonna get into my opinion. If there was no real plan of action after that happened, then it serves no purpose to me. What is the real reason? If you're gonna do something like that, if you're gonna go on this little protest or whatever, you should have some kind of plan of action as to what you're gonna do after the protest is over with. I mean, doesn't that make sense? I mean, why would you go do all of that and not have any kind of plan as to what you're gonna do after? All right, because these kind of things, if you plan them out, it has to be a beginning, an intermediary part, and a conclusion. And the whole process must yield, or it should be done to yield, some kind of positive result. What kind of result are you going to get at Bethune-Cookman College as students that are graduating by protesting Betsy DeVos? Is just for social media accolades? I'm pretty sure people were at the actual college filming it. Aside from whoever filmed this here, I'm sure there's people that were actually there filming it because it's a graduation of a college. But I don't mean really them. I'm talking about more of people that were there with their cell phones, GoPro cameras, etc., etc. They want to record it for their own purposes. Maybe they go on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, World Star, or whatever, and become viral. Right? So maybe that's the purpose, just to get some attention, just to go viral. Just to say that you stuck it to the man. Because at the end of the day, let's just be 1,000. Let's keep it all the way real. This was all about Donald Trump. And Betsy DeVos is Donald Trump's appointee as Secretary of Education. She's been seen with Donald Trump in pictures and stuff like that. So you associate her with Trump. So people that don't like Trump want to take it out on her. That is all that's going on here. That is the long and short of it. That is why she got treated this way. It's also the same reason why she got treated in an improper way in Washington, D.C. I saw this picture of the two guys that were, hugged up together. It was very weird the way they were looking. I won't even go down that road because I don't want to assume nobody's sexual orientation or their gender or anything else. So I'm going to go ahead and digress. But that looked very strange, and it was done to prevent Betsy DeVos from coming into the school the same way they did back in Alabama in the 60s, but I won't even go there. I'll leave sleeping dogs lie. Anybody that's associated with Donald Trump, anybody that's in his cabinet, I mean, even his children got accosted on an airplane. People talking about, oh, don't blindlessly defend your father, talking about Ivanka. I mean, what you want to do? That's her dad. And then what you mean blindlessly defend it? Just because you don't agree with some things that he does, then that means Ivanka is wrong. Maybe, just maybe, she has her own mind and she agrees more with him than she does with you. Maybe, just maybe that's what's going on. You can't just assign your own, your grievances with somebody on other people that are associated with him, related to him or whatever. If you got a problem with Donald Trump, address it with that man. Don't address it with Betsy DeVos. And beyond that, shout out to Yvette Carnell. She has a lot of stuff I watch, but I won't even go down that road. I think she's okay. I do not agree with most of what she says, and I'll leave it at that. But I do watch her occasionally, and I saw her video about the same situation, and she raised a good point. She was like, look, this woman is a billionaire, and you people at this graduation, you're there pretty much on loans from the federal government. She's from the federal government as a Secretary of Education. So you need to be trying to reach out to her as a billionaire, number one. Number two, somebody who's a billionaire and who's been involved in education for a very long time. And number three is a Secretary of Education in the federal government who has power to be able to dictate some things that can affect you. If you are going to grad school, whatever it is after this, things that she does can affect you. So if you have her in your presence, she's in the building, then maybe you should do something to try and figure something out, to finagle something with her rather than booing her. They did not give her a chance to even speak at this commencement speech. They booed her instantly. It was right away, only because she's a conservative and she's aligned with Donald Trump. And many of the things that she proposes, that she's been talking about, will help the black community. Matter of fact, she praised HBCUs as being the pioneers of school choice. People got on her about that because they said, oh, we had to go to those schools because the white schools wouldn't let us in. But that's not the point. The point is that people chose to go to those schools because that was the best thing for them. Maybe it was the only thing for them, but it was the best thing for them. They were not allowed into the white schools, and or they were given the subpar education. So the thought process was, let me go over here to these schools because they'll give us a better chance to get an education, and we'll be better off in the world and in the country and in the workforce for it. It's the same kind of principle that applies to the charter schools, home schools, etc., and the whole voucher program. I don't understand why black folks are against that. I chose my school back in the day, and I think it definitely did help me in my whole overall life. Some of the schools are not as good as others, but at the same time, the point of having school choice is to create competition. So the bad schools, which many of us are forced to go to in the inner city, those schools they'll have to improve or they'll shut down. The best school for the kids will remain. That is the idea behind it. Even if that's not always realized, you still have more than one option. What if you are a guy like me? When you were in school, you were in a low income area in the hood or whatever it is, and then you have a choice to go to a better school, but some liberal comes around and says, no, you can't go to that better school. You got to stay in that bad school. How would you feel about that? So I don't understand why anybody wants to come against Betsy DeVos for talking about school choice, talking about things that will actually make education better, mostly for black kids. It's just the whole thing about her being a conservative. Anything conservative is bad, which is really dumb at this point. I mean, we got to get out of that whole mentality of everything being bad as conservative, because look at the liberal ran ghettos that we live in as black people. I mean, I don't understand these people that were at the commencement speech hollering and acting the fool ought to be ashamed of themselves, because many of them come from these kind of environments where they see the effects of Democrat policies year after year after year after year. Many of them probably can't even add 2 + 2 because of their terrible education from K through 12, right? They're graduating and that's fine, but that does not mean that they're prepared for the world. And it's obvious by their actions that they're not prepared for the world. But I will give credit to those that were there that did not participate in this. And I will also give credit to I think it was the school's president of Bethune-Cookman, who said that they might not be able to participate in the commencement if they continue to do so. I think I did see one kid get kicked out of the actual commencement speech while the whole protest thing was going on. So I'm glad that happened. And the reason why I'm glad is not because I want to see anybody get removed from their own commencement, from their own graduation ceremony. The reason why I'm glad that happened, as far as any kind of discipline or threats of discipline, is because these kids, these young adults, cannot go into the world thinking that they can just do whatever they want and get away with it. When they're trying to go to that job interview, when they're trying to go start their own business, when they're trying to go get a line of credit, when they're trying to do X, Y, and Z, they can't have that mentality of, I'm black, I'm a victim, I can do whatever I want, and you can't tell me any different. That can't be the way things are. So shout out to anybody that was there that tried to squash it, and anybody that wanted to walk out and turn your back. Hey, if you don't tighten up right now, I'll see you in 5 years in the food line bagging my groceries while you got all that big debt on your back. Fix your attitude, get it together, and understand that the world is not this place where you're a victim. If you're a black person, you're not a perpetual victim. Just tighten up and do better. So that's pretty much all I got to say about it. What do you think? Do you think this whole situation could have been prevented if people just would have acted right? You know, it wasn't anything else beyond that. People said that, oh, they shouldn't have brought her. It's like, well, look, that's one thing. I'm going to add one more thing to it. People talk to me all the time about Republicans not being able to get the black vote. What are you guys going to do to get the black vote? That's what I'm always asked. But I'm like, what can we do when we're getting this kind of reaction from people? Right? You send Betsy DeVos to go give a commencement speech at an HBCU. She's giving praises to HBCUs. There's been an effort to try and improve education in the black community straight from this administration, and Betsy DeVos being the spearhead of it. But yet you boo her. You don't even give her the chance to talk. How is anything going to be able to get accomplished with that kind of mentality going on? Those of us that had the mentality will always be a part of the community, at least for a little while. They will always be there. Those of us that do not have the mentality, we're going to be the ones that actually rise from the community and become productive in our lives. That's just pretty much what it is. And I think that that kind of mentality would die down once you get rid of the welfare state. But I'm going to digress. I'm kind of getting off on a tangent here. I just want to know your thoughts. Do you think the situation was bad? Was it good? Do you think they had the right to do what they did? Do you think it was dumb? Do you think that it was misguided? You know, I mean, what are you doing protesting? What is the purpose? Just graduate. Just enjoy the rest of your life. Don't be trying to make political statements and stuff like that. That won't get you anywhere when you're talking about things that you don't even understand what you're doing. Understand more about what's going on in the world and then make a political statement. But don't ruin your own graduation. That's just my 2 cents on it. But whatever your 2 cents are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.
If this behavior continues, your degrees will be mailed to you. Choose which way you want to go.